The battlefield isn't out there, it's in here, in your mind, in your heart. And every single day, whether you recognize it or not, a war is being fought. Not with guns, not with fists, but with decisions, with discipline, with doubt. And the question ain't, will you fight? The real question is, will you even show up? See, most people spend their whole lives waiting for support, for opportunity, for someone to notice them, help them, rescue them. But what if no one comes? What if the help you're hoping for never shows up? Then what? You give up? You fold? You break? No. That's not who you are. That's not who you're going to be. Because the truth, the hard, unfiltered truth, is that if you want to survive in this world, if you want to win, if you want to live a life that matters, you've got to become your own army. You see, we live in a world where everyone talks about loyalty, love, and support. But when the storm hits, when the pressure's on, when the bullets of life start flying, people disappear. That's when you find out what you're really made of. That's when you look in the mirror, blood on your rakes, sweat in your eyes, fear in your chest, and you make a choice. You either retreat or you rise. You either run or you fight. You either become a victim of your life or the general of your destiny. Nobody's coming to knock on your door and hand you strength. Nobody's going to carry your cross for you, and nobody's going to teach you how to fight for yourself better than pain will. This world owes you nothing, but it will give you everything. If you show it, you're ready to take it. And that's what this message is about. It's not about motivation. It's about war. The war between who you are and who you're supposed to be. The war between the version of you that's tired, lazy, scared, unsure, and the version of you that's dangerous, driven, disciplined, unstoppable. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Lace up your boots, load your heart, sharpen your mind. Because from this moment forward, you don't walk through life like a civilian. You march like an army of one. They told you to wait, told you to be patient, told you someone would show up, someone with the right answers, the right opportunity, the right time, maybe even the right love. And so you waited. You sat quietly with hope in your hands, waiting for the right door to open. But the clock kept ticking. The days turned into weeks, the weeks into months, and no one came. Because no one's coming. Let that hit. No one is coming to fix your life. No one is going to build the bridge for you, carry you across the storm, or fight your battles. Not your parents, not your friends, not some coach, mentor, partner, or miracle. If anything's going to change, it has to start with you. It sounds harsh, but it's real. And reality is the best kind of truth. Because once you face it, once you accept that the cavalry isn't on its way, you start becoming your own rescue mission. You start standing up for yourself. You start building your own armor, setting your own pace, finding your own fire. Because the truth is, every great story begins at the moment someone decides, I'm done waiting, I'm done hoping, I'm done depending. From now on, it's on me. You are the answer. You always were. You were just too distracted by doubt, too clouded by comfort, too conditioned by fear to see it. Most people aren't stuck because they lack talent. They're stuck because they refuse to believe that they have everything they need already inside of them. The problem isn't the lack of help. The problem is the lack of belief, the lack of will, the lack of urgency. We get addicted to excuses. I didn't have the support. I wasn't born into the right family. I don't know the right people. No one showed me how. And while all that might be true, it doesn't change the fact that you still have a choice. Right now, in this moment, you can either keep carrying the same story or you can rewrite the narrative. Do you understand the power of that? You get to rewrite your life. But to do that, you've got to stop handing the pen to people who never showed up. You've got to stop waiting for permission. You've got to stop looking outside yourself for what's only going to be built inside. This world, it's built for the bold. And the bold aren't born that way. They're forged. Forged in isolation. Forged in late nights, hard decisions, in moments of brutal honesty where they finally say, if it's going to be, it's up to me. You are the foundation. You are the fire starter. You are the one who shows up when no one else will. You are the one who wipes your own tears, who dusts off your own setbacks, who reboots when life crashes your plans. You are the one who gets up not because someone told you to, but because your heart demands it. Don't you get it? That fire in your gut, that ache in your soul, that voice whispering, there's more. That's your spirit, trying to wake you up, trying to remind you of who you are. You don't need saving, you need awakening. It's time to become your own army. Time to stop asking, "Where is everybody?" and start declaring, "I'm already here." Time to stop praying for someone to push you forward and start preparing to break through walls. You don't need motivation. You need a mission, and that mission is to be the hero of your own story. Let the world sleep. Let the doubters whisper. Let the obstacles stack. You won't be waiting for help. You'll be preparing for war. And when it gets hard, and it will get hard, you'll smile, because now you know the truth. No one's coming. But you came, you showed up, and now you don't need a lifeline. You are the lifeline. You don't survive this life by luck. You don't thrive in it by chance. You survive and thrive because you're prepared, mentally, physically, emotionally, because you don't just show up. You show up trained, tuned in, and ready. Life doesn't reward the person who wants it the most. It rewards the one who trained for it the longest, the one who bled in silence when no one was watching, the one who rehearsed when no one cared, the one who built themselves up, piece by piece, while the world kept doubting them. You want to succeed? You want to break through? Then you have to train like a warrior and think like a general. The warrior shows up to the battlefield of life with scars and skills. They've been knocked down, but they're still standing. They've failed, but they've never stopped. The warrior isn't built in comfort. They're built in the uncomfortable. Every early morning, when it's easier to sleep, every extra rep when your body wants to quit, every page you read when your mind wants distraction, that's training. That's the grind that sharpens the sword. And it's not glamorous. Nobody claps for it. Nobody posts about it. But it's everything. Because when life swings at you, and it will swing, it doesn't care how motivated you were last week. It doesn't care how many times you talked about changing your life. It only cares how ready you are right now. Have you been training your discipline, your focus, your habits, or have you been running on hype? See, warriors don't rely on hype. They rely on habits. But training alone isn't enough. Because muscle without mind is reckless. Force without focus is chaos. That's where the general comes in. The general doesn't just fight. They plan. They calculate. They analyze. They see 10 moves ahead while everyone else is reacting emotionally. A general is composed, strategic, and always aware. They know that every step they take, every choice they make, is either pushing them closer to victory or pulling them deeper into defeat. And if you want to conquer your goals, your fears, your past, you need both. You need the heart of a warrior and the mind of a general. You need to push when it hurts, but also pause when it's smart. You need to charge forward with fire, but also retreat when the terrain is wrong. Life is a series of battles. Not all of them can be fought the same way. Some require brute force, some require patience, some require silence. A warrior charges into the storm. A general learns to read the sky before it rains. So what does that look like in your daily life? It means you stop operating on feelings. You start operating on strategy. You stop waking up wondering how you feel. You already know what must be done. Your life has a mission, and your behavior follows it. You know when to rest, but you don't over-rest. You know when to go hard, but you don't burn out. You become calculated, deliberate, precise. The general doesn't rush. He moves with reason. And every time you make a plan, stick to it. Execute it. You sharpen your edge. Think about how you spend your hours. Are you living like a soldier with a routine, or drifting like a civilian with distractions? Are you training your mindset to be tougher than your mood? Are you building yourself into someone who can't be broken by circumstance because you've prepared for every storm? A true warrior doesn't panic in chaos. They've rehearsed chaos in their mind 1,000 times, and a true general doesn't guess their way through life. They strategize with clarity. You want more from life? Then do more with your preparation. Plan your day like a battle. Move with purpose. Eliminate what weakens you. Multiply what strengthens you. Every decision, every second, it matters. The battlefield is already here. The world doesn't slow down. Life doesn't take it easy. The competition never sleeps. So why should you? You don't rise by accident. You rise by design. You rise by preparing when others are playing, by staying sharp when others get soft. You rise because you built both the body and the blueprint. You became the warrior who trains relentlessly and the general who thinks ruthlessly. And when both come together, When your mind is sharp and your spirit is ready, you become untouchable, unshakable. You don't just fight in this life, you win. Excuses are the language of defeat. They sound smooth, they feel comfortable, and they give you an exit from responsibility. But the truth is, excuses are the armor of the average. They protect your comfort, not your calling. They shield your fears, not your future. And the more you wear them, the more you forget what it feels like to fight for something real. If you keep choosing excuses, you'll never know what it means to win on your own terms. Purpose, on the other hand, is a weapon. It's fire. It's direction. It doesn't care about how tired you are or how unfair the game is. Purpose cuts through all of that. It wakes you up when the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. It drags you back on your feet after failure. It makes you get back in the gym, back in the studio, back in the books when everyone else is slowing down. Purpose doesn't ask for permission. It demands progress. You see, most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they keep giving themselves an out. I'm too tired. I don't feel ready. No one's supporting me. It's just not the right time. Those are all exit doors, and life will let you walk through them. But every time you do, you lose a piece of your momentum. Every time you believe your excuse, you delay your own greatness. But when you live with purpose, real, rooted purpose, you don't need motivation. You don't need someone to hype you up or pat you on the back. You become your own fuel. Your reason becomes your rhythm. You don't move based on how you feel. You move based on what you're building. You don't make decisions based on convenience. You make them based on conviction. And your purpose doesn't have to be something flashy. It just has to be real. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's your name. Maybe it's your vision for the life you've never had, but always wanted. Maybe it's proving to yourself that you are not your past. Whatever it is, hold on to it like a weapon. Sharpen it daily. Because when the pressure comes, and it will, it's your purpose that will decide whether you keep moving or break down. When your body's exhausted and your mind says quit, purpose is the voice that says keep going. When life knocks you down and you want to disappear, purpose is what helps you stand back up and say not today. And when your old self tries to come back, the one that loved excuses, that made peace with mediocrity, purpose is what shuts the door in its face. But here's the truth most people won't say. Purpose isn't found. It's forged. It's built in the dark, in the doubt, in the struggle. You don't discover it one day while you're scrolling your phone or waiting for inspiration. You build it by getting real with yourself, by asking, what am I willing to suffer for? What am I willing to wake up early, work late, and get uncomfortable to create? Because without purpose, life becomes a series of distractions. You chase things, people, trends, but none of it fills you. None of it lasts. You become a wanderer with a schedule, a drifter with a title. But when you lock in on your purpose, everything changes. You stop negotiating with life. You stop compromising your standards. You stop asking for less. The choice is yours. Pick up your excuses or pick up your purpose. One will keep you stuck. The other will set you on fire. And no, it won't be easy. It won't always be fun, but it will be worth it. Because every time you say no to the excuse, you're saying yes to the person you're becoming. Every time you take action, when it's hard, you're reinforcing that this life is yours. You want to win? Then stop giving energy to the version of you that's scared, that's soft, that's lazy. Feed the fire, feed the focus, feed the fight, and let your purpose become your daily weapon. No more pity parties, no more waiting, no more stories about why you can't. From this point forward, you don't move like a victim, you move like a soldier with a mission, armed with purpose, ready for war. There will come a time, maybe it's already here, when you look around and realize no one is standing with you. No support, no encouragement, no hand to hold, no voice cheering you on. Just silence, just the weight of your dreams, your pain, and your decisions resting on your shoulders. That's the moment most people break. That's the moment most people fold, because they were taught to rely on others more than they were trained to trust themselves. But hear this clearly. Standing alone does not mean you're weak. In fact, that's where true power begins. Because once you learn how to stand alone, you become unshakable. You stop depending on applause to feel worthy. You stop needing validation to move forward. And you stop measuring your strength based on how many people are walking beside you. You walk because you were born to move. You rise because you were made for more. You don't need a crowd. You need clarity. You don't need a committee. You need courage. But don't get it twisted. Standing alone isn't about isolation. It's about independence. It's about building something inside you so solid, so unbreakable, that you can weather any season without falling apart. People may walk out, life may hit hard, storms may come, but you don't collapse. Why? Because you're not standing empty. Empty is what happens when you rely on others to fill you. When your confidence depends on compliments. When your motivation depends on someone else's energy. That's dangerous. That's fragile. And that's how most people live, reacting instead of creating. But not you, not anymore. You must fill yourself with purpose, with principles, with discipline, with truth. These are the things no one can take from you. The world can strip away your job, your money, your relationships, but it can't touch your character if you've built it strong. It can't take your vision if you've burned it into your heart, and it can't steal your worth if you've decided that it was never for sale in the first place. Standing alone means walking into the unknown when the path isn't clear, but the voice inside you is. It means making decisions based on who you're becoming, not who you're trying to impress. It means waking up and doing the work whether or not anybody notices. Because greatness doesn't need an audience, it just needs a reason. You must choose to be full. Full of faith, full of grit, full of intention. Because the truth is, you will face seasons where you're misunderstood, where people question your choices, your ambition, your silence. They won't get it, and they don't need to. That's not your burden. Your only job is to keep moving with a full tank, even when the road is empty. And don't confuse being alone with being lonely. Loneliness is a feeling, but solitude is a weapon. In solitude, you find your voice. You build your thoughts. You connect with your calling. That's where the real growth happens. Not when you're surrounded by noise, but when it's just you, your grind, your God, and your goals. That's when you stop being part of the crowd and start becoming your own force. When you stand full, your presence shifts rooms. Not because you're loud, but because you're solid. You don't chase attention. You command respect. You don't beg for love. You walk in self-worth. And even if the world turns its back on you, you move forward. Not bitter, but better. Not empty, but overflowing. So don't fear being alone. Fear being dependent. Fear building your identity on shaky ground. You're not built for that. You're not average. You're not fragile. You're not empty. You are a one-person army. You are fire walking in flesh. You are filled with the kind of depth and direction that can only be forged in the silence. So when the world asks, who's standing with you? Stand tall, stand still, and answer back, I don't need anyone. I brought everything I need within me. Pain is not the enemy. It's a messenger, a teacher, a gift in disguise. But most people run from it. They hide it, bury it, pretend it never happened. And by doing so, they waste it. They waste their wounds. They waste the most powerful tool life ever handed them. The truth is, the things that broke you weren't meant to destroy you. They were meant to forge you. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the rejection, the loss, those weren't punishments. They were preparation. See, wounds are not just scars from the past. They're weapons for the future. But only if you choose to pick them up, sharpen them, and use them. Most people carry pain like baggage. It weighs them down. It slows their progress. It becomes their excuse. But a warrior doesn't carry pain as a burden. They carry it as ammunition, as wisdom, as proof that they survived, that they grew, that they kept swinging even after they were cut open. You have to change your perspective. You've been hurt. Yes. You've been broken. Yes. But you're still here. That means it didn't finish you. That means there's something inside you that even the deepest pain couldn't kill. That's power. That's what you use. You take the lessons from the betrayal and you build boundaries. You take the heartbreak and you learn how to love yourself. You take the rejection and you realize that your worth was never supposed to come from their approval anyway. Every wound comes with a choice. Hide it or honor it. Pretend it didn't happen or turn it into purpose. Let it define you or let it drive you. There's power in your pain, but only if you lean into it. Only if you sit with it long enough to understand what it came to teach you. Because some lessons don't come from victory, they come from the fire. From the nights you didn't think you'd make it, from the tears no one saw, from the moments you were completely alone. That's where resilience is born. Not in comfort, not in applause, but in the silence of suffering. And if you've been through that, if you've come out the other side, then you've got something more valuable than talent, more valuable than skill. You've got grit. You've got proof that you can break and rebuild, that you can be bruised and still believe, that you can be hurt and still rise with grace and grit. Don't cover up the wound. Convert it into hunger, into focus, into discipline. Let it fuel your goals. Let it remind you why you fight. Let it sharpen your edge when others go soft. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who has walked through hell and came back holding wisdom. The one who didn't let pain poison them, but let it empower them. You want to build something great? Start with your struggle. Start with the parts of your story that no one clapped for, that no one understood. The world doesn't need another polished, perfect figure. It needs real. It needs someone who's been through the war and still chose peace. Someone who knows what loss feels like but still chooses to give. Someone who knows pain but doesn't pass it on. They turn it into power. Everything you've been through is usable. Nothing was wasted. Not the breakdowns, not the delays, not the failures. You just have to shift how you see them. Stop saying, "Why did this happen to me?" Start asking, "How can I use this?" That shift alone is a revolution. That shift alone takes the victim out of you and puts the victor back in control. And don't wait for permission to heal. Don't wait for someone else to understand your pain before you decide to rise from it. You owe no one that. You owe it to yourself to take every wound and make it work for you. So when they ask you what happened, how you became so focused, so fierce, so unshakable, just smile. Because they wouldn't believe the story behind your scars. They wouldn't understand how much you had to endure. But they don't need to, because you've already turned your wounds into weapons. And now, you're armed for life. Now you understand. You don't need a crowd to feel powerful. You don't need applause to know your worth. You don't need permission to take control of your life. Because everything you've ever needed has always been within you. Your pain, your purpose, your vision, your fire. You were never weak. You were just waiting to realize how strong you really are. This life won't hand you anything. It won't slow down. It won't feel sorry for you. But that's not a reason to shrink. That's the reason to stand taller, to move with urgency, to live with grit, to speak with conviction. You are no longer asking the world for a chance. You are taking your place, owning your story, writing your future. Be your own army. Train like it. Think like it. Move like it. Because when life comes swinging, and it will, you won't run. You won't fold. You won't break. You'll fight back with everything you've built inside, the habits, the mindset, the belief, the scars. So when they look at you and ask, "How did you do it?" you'll answer with the quiet confidence of a warrior. I didn't wait. I didn't wish. I didn't run. I became the army I was looking for. And now there's no stopping you.